So edge reduction is done the same way. You can see this is already reduced. I'm assuming these two go together. And it's fairly easy to see what's supposed to go where. So you can see this long one over here. These two are kind of homologous to each other. This belongs on the top or bottom, and this belongs on the top or bottom also. This obviously comes with this one over here. So I'm going to do this the same way that I've described how to do edge placement in giant puzzles, giant cubes. So I'm going to move this down. Turn, turn, turn. Move this to here. And now this is going to move to here. And now the top here is going to be like a sacrificial lamb because I'm going to be placing this in here, turning it out, replacing it with another one. This is already in, so that one I don't want to touch. Bring this down here. You can see this is now reduced. Move this to the side. Continue the process of bringing this down. Move this to the side here. Like so, and bring it up. Now the good news about 4x4 puzzles is that you don't have to do this for too long. So now this is in. Might as well put this one in over here, and that's the small one, which is right over here. I'm going to take a long journey here and go 1, 2. So now this is in, as you could see. Bring it to the side. Like so. Move this down to replace it. Like thus. Bring it in. And now go 1, 2 to bring it back. Okay, now what? Well, let's see. We already know what these two look like. These two are homologous sort of to each other. Well, here's the other one that looks like it. So let's find the other one that's homologous to this. Looking at it. Right here. Actually, it was right in front of me. So right over here. So this guy is going to match up with this over here. So let's put this down just below it. Like so. And now this is going to move into here across the center with these two as a sacrificial lamb. So move it in. You can see it matches nicely here. Well, if you can't do it one way, do it the other way. Move this across here. Move this down. Some of it snags a little more than others. You just have to be patient. It's worth it at the end. Move this up here and up here. Okay. So those are some of the more obvious edges. Okay, what about one that juxtaposes with this one here? Well, it's got to be something long again. So I guess what I need is something that's coming up. What about this one? Nope. What about this one? Okay, see if this one fits. Move down, and oh yeah, nice, very nice. So I won't even pause, I'll just keep going. Move across. Turn. Turn, and up we go. Whoop. Down we go, rather. Okay. So we're getting there. Things are getting in. So let's see, what else do we need? I'm liking this less and less as I'm looking at it, this component over here. How about this? What's supposed to come into here? Well, it's supposed to be something that looks like this, but a little more towards the shape. Now, are these two already in? It looks like it, so that I don't even have to place. You know, I'm wondering if this guy belongs over here. Well, only one way to find out. Only because it almost fits with this, but not quite. Okay, move this in. Does this go to here? Well, one way to find out is to try. And in anticipation, let's move this correctly placed edge out of the way and move this up. Okay, so move it down, and yeah, that looks pretty good here. So turn, 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 and up. Okay, I think we're getting here. Now, the one that's supposed to go here is going to be sort of facing up, much like this one, but I don't think it's actually this, so it's something that looks like that. Okay, these guys might fit the bill with some of the ones over here. So what might go where? This might come over to here. Let's actually see if it works like that. I think if we turn this here, turn this into here, and yeah, that looks pretty good over there. We just have to make sure that we match it up with something that is not in yet. Everything on this side appears to be in, except this. I just might have to abandon this. You know, I think I'm going to abandon that. So, turn here, turn. 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 And up. There we go. Boy, talk about serendipity. These two match much better. That was a missing piece here. So this is okay. Now, which edges do we still have left? We've got these two. We might be down to the last two edges. That's certainly possible. Let's turn these around and see what happens. Okay. Move this into here, and we see that this fits perfectly. So that's good. So these two come together, and I will move this into here. Turn, turn, turn. So again, this is just 4x4 strategy, 4x4 supercube strategy. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, I think we might be down to the last two edges. This matches, I think maybe these two go together and these two go together. So I'm just going to assume that that's the case. Because if that is the case, this needs to come here and this needs to come here. So I know an algorithm to do that if I hold it like this. So if I hold it like this for the last two edges, this needs to come here and this needs to come here. And when it does that, these will all flip. So to do that, I'm going to turn this like so. Trying to get these to line up here. Good. Then we do R, Fi, U, Ri, F, and roll it on back. And lo and behold, it worked. This is in, this is in, and this is in. So, what we have is potentially, though we can't really be sure, a reduced ghost cube puzzle. But now at least we have we have our edges in place. So what I need to do is I need to figure out if these centers are where they need to be. So I don't really need to do the top and the bottom centers or put the edges in, because I already know which edges are supposed to be here. So what I can do is just try to line all these up. For instance, I know this is supposed to be up here, so none of those are going to be something I'm going to worry about. So maybe I should think about this another way. Looking at the two centers that are by each other. As I recall, when we're placing the edges that had kind of the two layers, it was all either facing up or all facing down. So I kind of like this looking like this, where both of these are facing up. So let's find the edge, say this edge over here. Does this coincide with down here? Because notice these kind of look like they're both facing up. So if I move this, I guess the best way to explain that is when you look at the ghost cube, take a look at these middle centers. You're going to see that you have these overhanging edges and they're both facing up to greet this over here. And you've got this piece over here that looks symmetric on both sides, which goes down the straight lines over here. Both of these overhanging edges are facing down. So too, with the organization of this puzzle, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. Let's get my tops and bottoms here again. Okay. So that means these overhanging edges are facing up. Perhaps this is the one that coincides with that. So let's move this down and see if it takes. This obviously doesn't belong here, and this doesn't belong with this, but maybe it's because it's upside down. So we'll go like this. Now I look at this, and this seems to bind pretty well with this, as you can see. So I'm going to move this down like so. Like this. Okay, so this belongs here, but not next to this one. Now it just might be that this is rotated wrong. So I'm going to move this up. Rotate this like this. And then move it down. Okay, so that looks good. That looks perfect. So now I know that these two are facing the proper way. I know that these two are correct. And if I know that these two are correct, then I know how to position these. Do I even need to put the other edges in? Well, for this is supposed to coincide. This is straight down. This should be straight down as well. But this should not be straight over here, because this is going to take one of these guys. And if it's taking one of these guys here, the next one is going to be something like this with two overhanging edges. But in this case, the next case is going to be pointing down. So now it's going to be one of these two over here. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just turning this around until this matches somewhere. Okay, so this matches nicely over here. We can turn it up and bang. So now we're having consistency here. So now I know that these are all rotated correct. Now I just have to do it in conjunction with this guy over here. Well, this is going to accept this edge. So let's move this edge up. Turn. Turn. And now let's see what happens as I'm turning this around here. So this fits over to here, which means this guy probably has to turn 90 degrees. So kersplat. Now actually this is not supposed to be right next to this guy because it looks just like it. It's supposed to be over here. Lined up over here. So I'm going to roll it twice like this, and you can see this works just fine. So this is good over here, which means that the next one to come in is going to be the other one, the other edge that has overhanging edges on it. It's not this one, it's not this one, it's this one. So this guy's going to have to come down to here. Where? Now again, I'm not really on the solving stage of this, I'm just in the orientation stage. Yeah, so this fits in here quite nicely, and just to show what I mean, we'll go turn, 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 turn. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. But eventually, you get there. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, so this is a fully constituted middle layer, as you can see, with these edges. Now the question becomes, what goes where regarding the tops and the bottoms, and do we have all the centers rotated completely correct, and have we walked into that horrible situation of ghostly parity? Now what you can do is you can always use your ghost cube as reference. So if you take a look at these centers here, it might be hard to see, but this center seems to correlate with this center over here. And if you take a look up here, then these centers seem to correlate with each other. You got this large house over here, which is correlated with this large house here. So if you take a look at the middle edges over here, do these seem to make sense? Well, this edge is correlated with this edge over here. If we bring it on over here, you can see that we have the majority on this side here with a small slab overhanging here. Same thing here, majority here, small slab over here. And then you've got this piece where the overhanging edges are facing up, So too, this piece over edge is hanging up. So with that reference, which sometimes I guess you have to do, we can say that this is actually coordinated correct. All the edges are in place. All the centers are, we believe, to be in place, although we may have some equivalencies here. The only question is, did we place one 90 degrees? So now we can actually start placing the corners. But before I do that, it might behoove me to start going through the process of solving, because it's going to be hard to see what corners go where. I'm not sure if this goes here or not. So let's go through the process of solving, and we're just going to have to deal with parity as it comes, because once we deal with it and once we're with it, then we know we can calibrate it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the top over here. Now alternatively, I suppose what I could do is just pick one of these as my side and just solve it as such, but that's going to be kind of hard to do. So what goes just on the bottom of this is going to probably be actually this, but this is upside down. So I'm going to double turn this here. Now I don't even care if I mess these up. It's going to be fairly easy to bring back in, as long as I know that now these are right relative to each other. Now this comes here, so I'm just going to go turn and turn. Again, the whole purpose of this is to get my corners correct. So this is right over here. Okay, how about the one that's supposed to go here? Maybe it's this one. Move this in, and yeah. Okay, so I like this, I like this. These are all fine. I just have to find the right trapezoidal pieces here that go over to here. Okay, so picking up here, I'm going to see if I can't move this into place. A trapezoidal piece. Whoa, turn it all the way around and bang. So this seems to fit pretty well over here. So this guy actually came into here. So this side is coming in pretty nicely. The next is another trapezoidal piece here. And if things don't seem to fit, just keep hacking away. So here's something of our cross, our top cross. So now I'm going to try to put these corners where they're supposed to be. This triangular piece. Yeah, triangular pieces are supposed to be here. Perhaps this goes here. So we'll just move this down and just roll this in until it seems to correlate with that. Turn, 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 turn. And obviously this isn't it. This is the relative position of what the triangle is supposed to be, but that's not where it is. So I think maybe this one, because it's got to be a little less large than this. So turn. Again, I'm still calibrating the puzzle. Turn and up. This one, no, it doesn't quite seem to correlate either. So, this one, I would lay odds it's this one. Let's move this one down and see if that one's going to work. So to get the corners in, I had to put the edges in. Otherwise, it wouldn't make much sense. Let's get this one back up here. Okay, looks like this one was the one. So turn, turn, aha, beautiful, I like it. Okay, so this is where it needs to be. So now a triangle over here. These are still the bigger triangles. So maybe this one. If nothing else, it moves this big bow hunk out of the way. So turn, turn, turn. Well, this has to be resting on its side, so maybe it's the right one, just in the wrong configuration. Turn, turn. I find that with these I-Ching puzzles, just to give you a little advice, if you can't move a corner here, or if you can't move this layer here, move the edge oh so slightly, move the middle part oh so slightly, and then you'll be able to do it. Not sure why it works that way, but it just does. So right now this appears to be locked. If I move this ever so slightly, this moves pretty well. Little pragmatic trick I learned. Can't move it, move this a little bit, and then there it goes. Okay. So this doesn't quite fit. This one doesn't quite do it. Not as good as this one. So I'm going to have to find another one. Something that's big, a fairly big triangle. I think perhaps this one. So we'll move this down. This one is just snagged here, so turn, 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 turn. And now we'll see if this does it, and it does. Okay, so these two corners are correct. And now this. These guys. So it's going to be, now this one looks like it's pretty large. It looks like it should be pretty sharp at the top, much like this. So this might actually be it, or maybe not. Let's see if there's something down here that might qualify. Let's try to move this one, because this one is sharp at the top, just like this. This is just ghost cube strategy. So turn, 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 turn. Turn the center oh so slightly to get that snagged out of there. Nope, not quite yet. Hopefully this next one will at least move it into a position that makes sense. Turn and up. And all that patience has paid off. Okay. So this is where it needs to be. Over here, this one is kind of a, is this a sharp one or a rounded one? It's also a sharp one. So it's probably not this one. It's probably this one. So let's move this into place. Turn, turn, and up. Okay, so for whatever it's worth, I have my top layer over here. Again, I don't know if I have parity. I don't know a whole lot of things, but at least I have this. And these corners are all where they need to be. Okay, so picking up from here, I need to find where things go once again with the center. So I'm just going to line things up. Let's move this over to here. And as you can see, this fits pretty nicely here. But now where else does it go? Well, I see that we have kind of a tapered edge over here. So maybe this binds down to here, but probably not at this layer. If I were to move this down like this, but if I move this down here, you can see this doesn't quite fit. So what if it actually belongs over here? The way to test that, and I got to be very careful that I remember everything I'm about to do, but let's turn this down. So let's turn this center down here for the purposes of seeing if this will line up with this part over here. So we'll turn this down. So, and you see it fits nicely here. So let's quickly move it back, because now I know what needs to happen. And up. Okay, so this needs to move down to here in order for this to work. So what I'm going to have to do is this is going to have to move up to here for this to move down here. So what I'm going to want to do is this edge here has to line up with this. So let's move this down. So we'll go, remember this one here. So 1, 2. Then I got to move this out of the way to line up with this here. So we'll go 1, 2. And now we bring this down by 1. Then go 1, 2. And now bring it up. Now the tricky thing about this is it's not going to match up, of course, but at least we know the relative position. Now this is going to come down to here. So we're going to do the algorithm to move this edge down to here. UI, LI, U, L, U, F, UI, FI. Okay, so now this is correct. This is where it needs to be, which means I know that these guys are oriented right as well. So with that said, now it's supposed to go here. Well, if this is going to be one with overhanging edges, this is going to be something like this. But is it this one? Or is it this one? Well, let's see. If I move this down like so, you can see this matches fine. This matches fine over here, but is this correct? Well, it doesn't look like it because, well, it might be actually. So let's go ahead and roll this in here and see if it fits. UI, LI, U, L, F, UI, Fi. I think I said U and I should have UI'd, but anyway, well, roll it along like this. Okay, so this looks good over here too. So this is correct. Now the next is another one with overhanging edges, which is going to be this one. Well, this one has to be bumped out anyway, so this one belongs over here. Now is this coordinated right? And I don't think so. This isn't supposed to have two sides to it, if you can imagine. It's either supposed to be here or here. So which one is it? Well, we can try to line this up and see if that makes sense. This doesn't belong over here. Move this into here. Does this belong down here? And yeah, it does. Which means if this doesn't belong here, it must belong here, which means this has to turn all the way to here, 180 degrees. If that makes sense, basically I saw that this is supposed to be here, so wherever this is will line up with this center over here. It obviously doesn't line up with this, so it must be this one over here. Or so I think. So in any case, I'm going to rotate this down over to here by 2. So we go 1, whoops, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So let's see if that actually worked. And I'm not so sure that it will, but let's see. So will this fit into here? And answer is yeah, okay. So this will move down into here. So turn, 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 and down you go. Okay, so all these are correct, which means we just have to put this one in. This one is going to take this one, but it's obviously upside down. So we're just going to want to bring that right side up. Now what I can also do is to see if this makes sense in conjunction with this side, because enough are in. So I'm going to roll this around to see if this shape makes sense. And you can see the square shape coming together very nicely over here. So yeah, this is all correct. Is this correct here? It looks a little skewed, to be honest with you, but I think we'll accept it for now. So yeah. Nope, okay, so we're good. So all we need to do at this point to make this middle layer make sense is just blast this out and put it back in again. See how rickety it still looks? But you know, as you're doing it, it can make some consistent sense here. Okay, line these up over here. Now we're just going to blast this out. Might be easier to do it from this way. So this will end up here and this will end up here. Turn. 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 Bang. Zoom. Pow and splat, if I can. There it is. Okay, now we just put this in appropriately. And now this guy is going to once again, this guy is going to come down into here. So see if it works. Turn, 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 and down. Okay, so we have the middle layer. Does it make sense with the bottom layer? Well, it should, but we'll see. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So now we just have the top layer to go of our master ghost cube.